It's great to have you in. So if you don't know, this is Casey Bryan, the president of Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices, Florida Properties Group. And it's great to have you in. And I don't think most people know in our marketplace, at least in Lakeland, that as big as we are, we're still locally owned. And
Sure.
and I don't have to call somebody in the Northeast or out in California and say, hey, Casey, and Lakeland's just a little thing on the map. And we talk at least a couple times a week.
At least.
At least.
Yeah.
You were here yesterday for lunch and
Back
we were
again.
looking at spaces. So
1961 is my favorite restaurant. Best Cuban ever.
right. It really is.
It really is.
When
I've
Casey moved here from Kansas City, he said, I don't like Cubans. They're gross. I said, well, try this one. And now it's your favorite.
My
So
favorite place ever.
So I think that's one of the things that, I don't know if I do a good enough job is overcoming of who we are as a company locally. Cause I'm just not one of those ones like, look at me, I'm the best, or look at us, we're the best.
Hear Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices and you automatically think like big corporate entity, Warren Buffett, like this kind of big conglomerate. And what people don't realize is that we have two arms of our company, right? We have the franchise companies and we have wholly owned or affiliate owned companies as well. And we happen to be in the franchise arm. So two local guys, most down to earth guys you'll ever meet, former football players at Alabama for Bear Bryant. Honestly, like you'd sit around a bonfire drinking a beer with them. Just the coolest.
And we have.
guys. Yeah. Yes, we have.
I mean,
Yes,
Dewey
we
was
have.
here yesterday.
That's right.
And Dewey loves to go to Reese Cliff.
Yeah.
So he can't come to Lakeland.
We had Meatloaf Thursday.
I was so
yesterday.
excited for
Yeah.
Meatloaf Thursday. I've been trying to, eat right, but I'm like, Meatloaf Thursday? Yes.
Yeah, it was great. But I think you just hear the name and you automatically think national brand, national ownership, lots of layers of red tape or whatever. And there's phenomenal things that come from corporate owned stores too, but we happen to be locally owned with a really thin kind of top end. It's you to me and them, right?
That's pretty much
it's
it.
just a really thin layer. And, we work really well together. I'm out here at least quarterly. We've got Eric that comes out regularly, our marketing team, and so.
Oh yeah, Eric was here Monday. We even have a
Eric's
internal
official title. I don't know if you know this. He's dad.
Director of Agent Development.
You got it. Yeah.
He's gonna have to come with a
officially
dad
the
joke. We even have an internal IT department that's on staff. I mean, they were here one day and most of the agents here think it's like to help them with KV Core or our website. So now like my computer runs slow and Tiffany opened it up and changed a hard drive out for her. And I'm like, oh man, you got a couple more years with that old thing.
Got some pretty amazing people.
Oh yeah, we really do. And I don't know if it's in our nature or your nature to say, hey, look at me, look how great we are. Right.
Yeah.
And it to me, it feels a little weird, I just get happy to see our agents successful and them doing well, knowing that they have the support. But
I mean, that's why we exist, right? We make a living helping other people make a living.
Right. So, and also one of the things I wanted to bring up is even though Berkshire Hathaway HomeServices has only been around since 2013.
I think we have our 10-year anniversary this year.
Right. So, but Dewey and Allen and Florida Properties Group, they've been around since 1984. So it's not that often you see a larger company like this that's locally owned. Same owners, same people for that long.
Yeah.
I think the only person in the company longer than that is Candy Packett. She just celebrated her 40th anniversary.
We got a couple that came over with the acquisition. Sweet Candy, love her.
Right, love her to death. So, other than that, I think she might have the record in the company.
She's been around longer than the boys.
Yeah. So, but markets shift and they come and go, right? And then when we're just coming out of COVID, everybody had this shiny new thing. They all had a new way to reinvent real estate. And yeah, everybody has the right to create a better mousetrap.
But that's the reality, right? When you have a great market, that everybody wants to tell you how to do it better, even though they've never been in the industry, they've never seen the struggles of being at the bottom and how you survive during that.
Right.
They've got these great new theories and processes and systems and technology, and then the market shifts again into a more normalized or a swing market.
Yeah, I'm a tech CEO. Now I'm going to go run a real estate company.
And now the tech company doesn't even exist anymore, right? Like it's insane to me the opportunists that try to capitalize on hardworking realtors.
Right. And it's the largest segment of the economy. So, of course, Wall Street and tech's always trying to get in. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it's a very personalized, person-to-person business.
Sure.
So it's not a commodity. We're dealing with a lot of emotions. And when you see that and everybody's like, we're the fastest growing this, we're fastest growing that, and you open up Inman or what it is and like, look at this shiny new real estate model. It's going to be a game changer. And then 2 years, it's like, they haven't made a profit and their agents are leaving. And I've always said that it might not be the sexiest, but solid business foundations, those are the ones that win the game.
I mean, we preach that, right? How many people get into this industry that were teachers or police and firemen, military, that came from different careers, but not from an entrepreneurial background? They don't know things like tax savings, retirement planning for entrepreneurs, setting up their entity so it's structured for the most tax advantages for them. If we as a company, if you as a leader, if our industry leaders don't preach and talk about that and reinforce it, how are our agents or agents in the industry supposed to know?
Yeah. But also, like, when you came out of a market like that, everybody's systems seem like they work because the market allowed it to work.
Sure.
Now, we just had a meeting on Monday. The market's down how much in listings?
Listings are down 26.2%.
Right. In our
Tampa MSA.
Tampa MSA. How much are we down as a company? 11.
Yeah.
So even though we're down, we're still
far. I'm almost 3x the market.
Right. And I think our pendings are beating the market.
Our listings are beating the market and our pendings are beating the market.
Right. So if you add them all up, I think we're kind of flat and the market's down as a whole. So that's all of those new business models are all the people that got in the industry, which I call maybe the weekend warriors, and they think it's easy and their friends say, oh yeah, but now coming towards the end of the year, which I prefer as a broker a little bit better, is we're going to be working with more professional real estate agents.
Yeah. And I think we need it, right? I mean, we have such a responsibility to the transaction in the industry. And I think there's so many times where people get in and do 1 or 2 transactions and they don't understand how important the paperwork is. I mean, we're project managers, right? We're taking it from start to finish and managing everything in between. And there's so often that we don't take that responsibility as an industry as serious as we can.
Right.
We're very fortunate that our agents believe in training, they believe in education, they believe in growing. We just had our legal summit a few weeks ago.
It was standing room only.
Correct. I mean, we were sold out. We had to turn people away. And so it was amazing to me to see how much of the room was our really seasoned, top producing agents, in addition to some of the newer agents. But to me, that showed that we have a culture and a team that believes in education, that believes in reinvesting in knowledge, growth, and development. And it was just a really cool moment.
Yeah, one of the things that I enjoyed doing is working with agents hand in hand. I mean, you were here, and I was already working with Salam this morning on for sale by owners and things like that. And then I was helping Natalie, but with the experienced agents, the deals sometimes get a little bit more complex and working through those, but they just walk over to my office and we get to the closing table. But
the power of you being a non-competing broker that's actually in the office.
Right. But the new agents, because they don't know how well they're prepared, especially going through Berkshire Hathaway University with Diane, and then having Eric, support that as well, is they'll get in their first deal and they'll pop their head in the office and like, I thought I was supposed to be the new agent, the inexperienced agents in this transaction. So the industry always preaches, we're the best at training and we're the best at this and we're this, that. And they all say it. Our culture's the best. But for those things to really know they work.
So over that word.
Right.
Like culture is such a played out
You got to experience it.
Oh my gosh. Like define it. What is culture, right? I mean, like everybody says our culture's the best. Like I am so tired of hearing culture.
Yeah. I've never heard a company like, we've got like really good splits, but our culture sucks, right? But they'll pop in and like, yeah. I'm like, yeah, I know. There's a lot of companies out there that the bare minimum is just the class and the 14 hours.
The bare minimum is put your license here and good luck, right? I mean,
right.
And that is a part of our industry.
And
that's right for some people.
For some people, that is a great place for them to be because that they've got to that point where they have the knowledge and the systems in place. But some of them,
or they're at the end of their career. You know, they really don't want to continue investing in knowledge growth and systems and support. And again, that model works for some people, but for people in our industry, it's changing every minute. I mean, look at the new foreign notice that just came out.
And I've talked to some agents in other companies and asked them, hey, what are your processes? What are your companies doing about the foreign buyer notice? Yeah. And they either don't know what I'm talking about, or they say, I don't know what we're doing about it. I mean, you know. That's
both of those answers are unacceptable.
That's that's state law. We have to abide by it, but we're in a precarious position that we also have to abide by federal fair housing laws.
Sure.
So, you know,
but we should be. I mean, how are those discussions not being had?
I don't know.
Right? Like, how do you not have a process in place? How are you not coaching your agents and your team as an agent? How that just blows my mind that as an industry, you know, the leaders throughout our industry aren't making it a point to have those discussions. Right. It's crazy to me.
And we do. And that's one of the reasons why you're here today. Well, the leader is here, right? It's just not a faceless person that you send emails back and forth to. But that's the great thing I love about our company is it's not just the Lakeland office. We have over 20 offices with almost 900 agents. But when you come into the office, you still get that, hey, it's the mom and pop feel. And yeah, we can still call Casey directly or Dewey and Allen or anybody else in the organization. They're incredibly helpful. But we also have that geographic footprint where we just hired a team that does $100 million a year. And one of the reasons why is because we have all those services, all the core services that we can help them with. And they can expand and expansion teams. Sure. You can say, hey, look, I'm in Polk County. I like going to the beach over in Pinellas. I mean, there's
so much territory to cover in our marketplace, right? So for team leaders, especially, at some point you're going to farm out your marketplace and kind of hit your cap on what you can get client-wise within your certain neighborhood or community or market center. Yep. So being able to have your primary team here in Lakeland, but have an expansion team in our South Tampa office or Wesley Chapel or Trinity or St. Peter, wherever, you know, have 3 or 4 people on a team. So you cover really the entirety of the market. Right. Your reach as a team leader becomes infinite.
And the great thing is it also helps take some of that management of the team off the team leader because they can still get the training at the branches. They still have the same accounting systems, the same support, admins. They still have all of that stuff.
We're one of the only brokerages in the marketplace that has that type of footprint.
Right, because when you see a Berkshire Hathaway in Central Florida, it's owned by us, and it's not a corporate-owned, you know, entity, the national thing. So we can. I've always, you guys have always told me, you and Dewey and Allen, like, if it makes sense, we're not going to say no, right? If it makes sense for all parties, you know, if it's going to help the agents do better and make more money and give them stability and grow, whether that's going, you know, commercial or property management or any of those avenues of real estate, we'll do it. I mean, Dewey yesterday was talking about, like, how can we make an investment vehicle for real estate inside of our company, that would set us apart and set agents up. So it's always having those conversations. Sure. It's great at the high level.
And I'll be the first to say, we don't know it all.
Right.
We'll make 1,000 mistakes a day, right? But I can promise we try our very best. We're open to listening to feedback. We can pivot instantly
or shift and pivot.
Yep. I like it. We can shift it. You know, at the drop of a hat. We're not going to always get it right, but I feel we are super fortunate that we have leadership and agents that are willing to have open dialogue with us. There's a level of transparency here where when people have ideas, we can either say, hey, that's amazing, tell us more and let's work on it, or think about it from this perspective. I don't know that it will work when you think of it from this angle, but keep the ideas coming.
Yeah. And and even with the other brokers too, I don't know it all.
Sure. Our leadership team is so badass.
Oh, yeah.
It is.
The other day we were trying to work with some listings with that new group we brought on, and you and I were on, and Sean popped on, and he's like, "Oh, here's how we do it in our office." I'm like, "Oh, thanks. You just saved me hours and hours and just trying to figure it out, recreate the wheel." And it's great to have that.
I would say the best thing about it is we're so willing to challenge each other too, right? If somebody just accepts blindly what one person says without challenging thought, and there's no threat that someone's going to make you look stupid or you feel uncomfortable in a room. Our leadership team is so collaborative that it just makes us better.
Oh yeah, I know of other companies, and it comes high down from corporate, and that's it.
Yeah.
Like, well, we're in Florida or wherever, and that doesn't make sense.
Snowy pictures don't make sense in Florida.
That doesn't make sense, and we'll get together as leaders, and that's one of the really great things about Florida Properties Group and you guys is like when we invested in Preferred Lending Services.
Yeah.
With the second largest mortgage company in the world with New Res, it wasn't. Here's a lender you have to work with, deal with it. Because we've had those situations in the past with other big banks. And they work 9 to 5 and they don't get it. But now we have Brandy Novak as the president, and she's local in Lakeland. And again, you get
she's
that
a Polk County girl.
Polk County, you get that local bank feel.
We were able to shop, right? We were able to shop to determine who we wanted our JV partner to be. So when we picked a banking relationship, we knew wholeheartedly it was our decision based on what our needs were here in Central Florida.
Yeah.
Which is basically what you're saying. And it was, there's not very many people that have that opportunity. And because we own the mortgage company, we have a lot of say-so in how it operates, the team that we have in place. And
I don't say it because we're in a family of services together. I say it because I 100% believe in the people and the product. Because I have a lot of friends in the mortgage industry and they've got good products, and I'll say, "Hey, Brandy, what do we have that product, but our overlays, we don't have as many overlays or the threshold because we are not the middleman in it."
We only hire seasoned MLOs, right? So I think the knowledge that they come with, the industry knowledge that they come with, and production standards too, that we are in a position, fortunately, where we are able to vet MLOs really well and have really high standards for production, knowledge, education, service that our MLOs have to have that others don't have the benefit of.
Right. But again, because when I was selling, every loan officer wants to be your best friend. They're all great, right? And they all have good products. But to me, it got to the point like, okay, this is great. What happens when that file, when you hand it off to underwriting? You're farming it out? We have our own underwriting.
Our processor's local here too to Tampa. She lives here in Tampa.
Yeah, so and it's dedicated just to us. So that to me is...
She works for our JV, not for New Res, which is our partner.
Which is phenomenal.
And our underwriting team is local or not local. They're specific to us too.
Right. And again, we service the loan, 98% of the loans after the sale, which I can tell you from personal experience. When I bought my house, I went with somebody that we didn't have PLS yet, so we didn't have a mortgage company.
Be in the doghouse.
Yeah, no, that was, I don't know, 7 years ago, with somebody that I knew locally, loved her to death, good company, good service and all that. After our loan's been sold probably 3 or 4 times, and every time it's sold to a different company, we get, and it really freaks Erica out, and she looks at me like I have something to do with it. Like, what? How did you get us?
Why'd you do that? Why'd you let
now
that
I
happen?
have to change the direct this. I'm like, that's just the way it is. And so after the sale is to know that and those are little things that I don't think a lot of people take into consideration. But to me, I think they're big because my own personal experience and selling.
Time, right? It's time away from other things that you could be doing. It's the hassle of it.
Whatever, So it's just really nice to know that no matter what we do, even on the title end with Capstone Title, we close thousands of transactions a year. So we have, I don't know how many title agents we have now in our company.
The whole title team is about 35,
right?
Including Order Central, which is in our home office.
And again, the president and David Boyum, the leader of the title part, he's here, and we sit and chat, and it's great. It's like, okay, how can we help each other? How can we grow?
About how darling Tabitha is, your title processor.
She is fantastic.
She is such a gem.
She's
bilingual.
Yeah, she's bilingual.
Yeah,
and she's been doing it for 10 years.
Yeah.
And
she's just an amazing person too, down to earth. You would just sit around and have just a really authentic conversation, and then to get the back end knowledge and service that she brings to, she is such an amazing.
I didn't know, and I will tell you this because I learned it from Tabitha, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I didn't know if you have a seller or somebody that needs to sign for a closing, and if they are in jail in Polk County, you can do it on Thursdays because they have an official notary that will do closings on Thursdays.
Fun fact, I hope we don't have to use.
Even if we do.
Yeah.
So, she is fantastic.
Yeah.
And knowing that she has all of that behind her and the training, and, we have situations where other people have to cover, and she's covering for another title agent. So you'll never go without.
Sure.
But it's great.
Well, I think, when I look at where I feel like we do a good job is really watching market trends. Right.
Oh, I know. We just went over an hour through P&Ls and market trends and how the office doing, how the market's doing.
But even then, we knew that the market was peaking in June last year, right? So we could get some messages out surrounding presentation, buyer consultation, seller consultation, how to have tough conversations with seller, price reductions, open houses, pivoting marketing strategies for our agents for them to enact with their listings. And then I look at things like foreign buyers notice. Right.
And that just came out of what do we do? It's law.
Right. And for all, I guess, when I look at Florida Association of Realtors, they didn't really have any more answers than what we did. Right. So, I just see our strength as a company outside of the technology and the support and the guidance and the coaching that we give is really having a really strong pulse in the market and being able to be advisors to our agents and they shift with the market.
And we're having conversations now as a leadership team, and I'm doing it in the office as well because we have all those
buyer brokerage agreements.
Yeah, the lawsuits against NAR, how commission is paid out and divided, and that could drastically change and shift how we do business on the buying side.
Regardless of the outcome of the NAR suit, and we are fortunate to be intimately involved with that as a Florida Properties Group, as a company. Regardless of the outcome of that suit, there will be shifts in how we operate as an industry.
Some MLSs are already, places are, no matter how that lawsuit shakes down, some of them already are adopting that. Yeah. So we're already, that's again, it's like, okay, we get together as a team, and it's great for us because we've had agents out of there, and you're from out of the area, and buyers brokerage agreement, what you don't do them in
like one of 5 states that doesn't.
It's normal. So, and then a lot of the objections usually come from the agents themselves, not the consumers. But as it shifts, where people like the new foreign buyers law, there's companies out there that are just maybe hoping that their agents do it, or they're not having those decisions, and it's just reactionary.
Or what's even worse is if they're putting documents out and they don't know the why behind them, right? We've had a couple of situations where we're a buyer's agent on a transaction, the listing agent is giving us documents to sign, and we're like, we really shouldn't be signing this document that you're providing based on the advice of Florida Association of Realtors and FREC. Why are you giving it to us? And they're like, I don't know. I was just told to give it to you, right? that's even scarier. You shouldn't be presenting documents that you don't know why.
Right. Yeah.
But that plus, the changes with NAR coming, I think that there's ways for us to be ahead of the market, really knowledgeable, and be professional at the careers that we've chosen.
Yeah. I mean, I could get on my soapbox. The barrier of entry to get into real estate and stay in it is so low. But that's one of the great things about our company is we try to separate ourselves as being as professional as possible.
Sure. It's
kind of like the advent of the internet. It was kind of what happened to the
hobbyist, right?
Stockbroker market, right? You went one way where you have high level of professional service with some of the brokerage houses, and then you get to $7 e-trades or whatever. You figure it out yourself, right? And everything else in between. So we said, not everybody wants to stay at a Motel 6, but everybody wants to stay in a Ritz-Carlton. Right. So let's just do that, right?
Good analogy.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I think of it and approach it, and everybody else in the organization does. I mean, it's top notch.
Yeah.
Well,
thanks for having me out to Polk County again today.
You're welcome. This is the second time this week.
Yeah, second time.
Highlands yesterday too.
Yeah, we drove out to Highlands County yesterday morning. We've got 2 branches out there, so I'm just kind of heading to Brandon next. So visiting with all the
we appreciate everything that you do, and thanks.
Friend.
Yep, it's great. You don't get to see the president or the owners of the company once a year at a convention.
Right.
And you get to shake their hand. Hey, my name's so and so. Nice to meet you. I'm from Lakeland, right? Casey it's like family. I mean, I know that's kind of cliche too.
But it is. I mean, the reality is, my husband's name, my kid's name. I know yours. I know what's happening with their lives. I know when Naomi's selling Girl Scout cookies. I mean,
right. We all know what's going on, and even with Dewey and Alan and things like that. And I really, really love when we all get together. I wish we could do it more.
Agreed.
Maybe we could do
we need to go to like a comedy club one night or a dueling piano bar.
Well, maybe not a comedy club, because then everybody's, you're not really interacting, right? But maybe we do something where we just go to, I don't know, the beach and just everybody.
There's that a year ago. Was it a year and a half?
Yeah. Was it?
Yeah.
Where there's no agenda.
The Whiskey Joe's. Remember when we did Whiskey Joe's on the sunset?
Yeah. No.
Do that again.
That was fun. No agenda.
Yeah.
We're just all gonna hang out, and that's that.
Enjoy the time. Love it.
Thanks, Casey.
Thanks for having me.
Anything else?
That's it.
Submit for review.
Submit for review.
Check your HUDs and your settlement statements prior to closing, please.
Yeah. All of that.
All of that.